Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Davo from Archon Esports, bringing you a 1v1 StarCraft 2 cast this evening. In the bottom left-hand corner of our map today, which is MLG Daybreak, we have our red Zerg, who is EGMachine, and then in the top right-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss, who is VileState. Awesome! These two are very, very experienced players, of course, being members of Team EG and Team Vile. Both of them are American as well, just a little bit of factual truths for you there. Okay, so let's go in for a little bit of trivia. Why not? VileState actually qualified for the IPL Season 2 without realising what he had qualified for, which in many ways can kind of say how good of a player he actually is. Because if you qualify for a tournament which is so renowned and so many really good players actually qualify for it without even realising it kind of says something about your abilities. Okay, and then in the bottom left hand corner, of course, we do have EGMachine, and he plays Zerg in Brood War and is 23. Amazing, yes. So he still plays Brood War, a move that I thoroughly like. I really like Brood War, actually. My favourite unit has to be the Lurker, even though I'm not really a connoisseur of Zerg myself. I do like the Lurker, especially like the amount of devastation it lays down. And it really opens opportunities for the Zerg side to do some zoning, which is obviously where you kind of restrict certain areas of the map, basically, with units that do a lot of damage and require some specialist units to actually be removed. Okay, so it does look like VileState is going to be expanding here. Fairly standard timing, but is EGMachine actually going to harass VileState in a way that will mean that he won't be able to get his expansion up? It looks like he will be doing this today, at least for a little bit anyway, as it does look like VileState is leaving Machine's natural alone now and just letting Machine build whatever he likes. There we go, so there is a hatchery. It was hardly going to be anything else because you need creep there to do it. Of course, unless you build a hatchery, quickly cancel it, and then build something else, you can actually build, like, say, a spine crawler, but it is a bit of a waste of minerals because spine crawler will cost you about 173. Rather than just your normal 100, just for the sheer positioning of it. Okay, so we do have Zerglings chasing a probe across the map. This probe is literally running for his life away from these terrifying people. I'd say Zerglings, but we do have the probe joined by his bigger brother here, and looks like he's going to be chasing the Zerglings away pretty easily. Awesome. It doesn't actually look like VileState is actually going to expand anytime soon, but now it does, because he is putting a pylon on the low ground, and that basically says that he is going to expand pretty soon. So here I am eating a plate full of my own words. Yum yum yum. We do also have some scouting coming around here from VileState as well, making sure that EGMachine hasn't done anything funny, like done a really early third or anything like that. And it does look like this probe is going to actually go into the main base and have a little bit of a scout around as well. Some drones being pulled off for EGMachine just to go and fill up and saturate the expansion coming out for him. And also we do have the warp gate research on the way for VileState as well, which obviously really helps with the amount of macro that you can pull off. And we do have a Nexus on the way now for VileState, so both players are actually getting their expansion up quite nicely and pushing the game into what will seem to be a rather comfortable mid-game sort of scenario, which is awesome. Okay, but it does look like VileState is going to be a little bit more defensive, with quite a lot of buildings blocking off many of the routes actually into his base, and of course we've got sentries as well. And if he's quick enough with the force fields, he can actually just block this off as well and make it as if the whole thing is properly blocked off. And force fields are of course essentially free because they only take up energy, and buildings do cost quite a lot of money. But no, instead he is actually just going to opt for the whole blocking in the whole lot, or at least I presume he's fully blocked in now. Apart from perhaps where that Zealot is standing, and that Sentry is standing, and maybe by the ramp. But it would be very uncharacteristic of very, very good players to leave a gap by the ramp, for example, because you're kind of asking for a run through then. Yes, there is a little gap here, and there might actually be a gap here too, who knows. Okay, so we do have a small kind of move out, or at least a little bit of a push out from the Zealot and Sentry combo. And they do look like they'll be going to go and get the Watchtower, and of course the Watchtowers are a very valuable resource in any map, and EGMachine will be breaking down this rule if VileState is not careful, and it's something that VileState is actually going to need to make sure that he does something about, because it can make the route on this map anyway, on a Daybreak, sorry, it makes the route very, very quick from one spawn location to the other, rather than the teams having to go around. I mean, when I say very, very quick, I mean quite a bit quicker. Not very, very quick, just quick enough. But of course, if you hold that Xelnaga Watchtower, you can actually see the rocks being broken down. So it's not as if VileState doesn't actually know what's going on. So of course the Watchtowers are very important. You've essentially got a Watchtower per base, especially seeing as this kind of half expansion here, with the 6 mineral patches and 1 geyser, actually fall directly under the Watchtower as well. It kind of gives you a really, really nice kind of safe haven to, if you don't want to put your third here, to put your third here. It's obviously very nice for Terran as well, because the amount of minerals that are here could get mined out fairly easily, really. It's not that many minerals compared to some of the other places on the map, and especially with certain unit called the Mule, you're very likely to mine that out quite quickly, and of course then you can just lift your orbital command or command center off and take it somewhere else. But we do have a small detachment of roaches on the way from VileState, and we do have a warp prism on the way. Sorry, we have roaches on the way from EGMachine, and we have a warp prism on the way from VileState, which can say that he is actually going for some sort of drop play at the moment. And we do have a rather large battle here from these players, and it does look like VileState's force field play will win the day for him. So I'll just get rid of the top bar for you. But it does look like EGMachine is just going to pull back here with these roaches now. Not particularly going to be doing much with those, but we do have more sentries and zealots coming down here, and this burrowed zergling could be a little bit pesky for VileState to deal with. He will have to get an observer out in order to see this, which of course will be very, very important. We do have another warp prism on the way for VileState, and it'll be very interesting to see what he's actually going to do with this warp prism. He's probably going to go for some zealot drops, in my opinion. If you drop zealots with some sentries, you can really have a very fun time by putting some force fields here and here, and really restricting the amount of ways that probes have to run out of the mineral line. Let's see if VileState actually does anything with this warp prism that is worth really talking about. I mean, he'll probably do it while covering his attack here in the middle. If he does actually mount an attack at all, he does have an immortal out, which of course are very good against roaches, and EGMachine's army composition is quite roach orientated, and we do also have ground weapons level 3 from our Protoss player, and it's worthy to note that that's actually quite high for 13 minutes into the game, considering that our Zerg player only has 1 armor and 1 weapons, and they're not even done yet. So really this army from VileState is much better prepared, and we do have the warp prism moving out here with some zealots inside of it. Now we could see some warp drops a little bit later, because we do have some High Templar on the way, as well. But this attack looks like it'll be cleared up pretty quickly. Pretty quickly indeed, actually. But we do have a rather large attack here, and unfortunately the High Templar going down before they can all morph into Archons. And it just looked like a little bit of aggression from from EGMachine. But he needs to be careful not to be too aggressive at this point in time. We do have the Hive out from him as well, and a Spire at a simultaneous time, and that's actually going straight into the Greater Spire. So the machine is actually just going straight for really high-tech air units very, very quickly indeed. And it does look like Machine is forced to go on a little bit of the defensive here, because there's quite a strong Protoss army with very, very good weapon upgrades, or at least they will be soon. And the Spine Crawlers are coming out, so it does look like the Machine is definitely on the offensive with some really, really nice force fields here from VileState. It looks like this attack should be a little bit of a success, just so long as he isn't too aggressive with it. The force fields going down there as well, really, really helping to split the army up. If VileState had seen the Corruptors, it might have been a little bit of a clue as to what his opponent is actually planning to do. But we really do have quite a lot of really, really good combat going on here. Roaches getting absolutely mashed by Immortals, the Infestors just streaming into the battle and getting absolutely killed by these 3 weapon upgraded Stalkers. They do need to be very, very careful against the Zerglings, because it is something the Stalkers can suffer against. But at the moment, I've got to say, this aggression from VileState is actually making him look really, really, really good in this game. And it actually looks like he might go forward into a far more superior position in this game. And of course, he is continuing his push with more macroed up Stalkers as well, continuing the push into the second base. A nice fungal growth on the sentries, but I'm not sure it will actually be enough, because the 3 weapons upgrade really do make Stalkers very effective very, very quickly indeed. And it does look like VileState is actually in a really, really, really good way here in this game. But here we do have Broodlords that could actually change the battle quite badly for him. He needs to be very careful and perhaps yet blink underneath them and take out the Broodlords where they stand. But unfortunately, I think these Stalkers will get taken out too quickly for the Stalkers to actually be able to deal with, and it definitely looks like these Immortals, unfortunately, these very, very expensive units will get cleared up very quickly by the combination of Zerglings and Broodlings from the Broodlords. I really enjoyed that battle. That was awesome to watch. Good times. But I mean, VileState really is going to have to kind of take stock now and see what's going on, because I'm not actually sure that he knew that Broodlords were on the way. Because as I said before, VileMachine really did just get his Greater Spire up very, very quickly, and I'm not actually sure that State actually saw what was going on. And obviously that could have come to a bit of a surprise to the aggressive army that he had. But nevertheless, it makes the game last longer, and I am in favour of that, because I'm really enjoying it. But we do have a really, really large amount of Broodlords here from EGMachine, and they do look like they are actually going to be moving out fairly shortly. We also have Armour +1 and the Charge Lot upgrade for our Protoss player, VileState today. And we also have a lot of High Templars as well, which will deal very, very nicely with either the Infestors or the Zerglings if they come at them. But at current, State really, really needs to deal with the Zerglings just attacking the back of his army, and that was done very, very nicely indeed. And be mindful about these Broodlords. At the moment, it does look like State has actually a really good army composition to deal with these Broodlords and Zerglings kind of mix, but he won't for much longer if his Stalkers are left alone too long there. But there is the Psystorm just clearing out the Broodlings and the Zerglings, and it does in fact look like all of the all of the Broodlords will go down. Oh, look at that fungal growth and all of those High Templar. Oh, nearly killing all of the High Templar, and EGMachine throwing out a GG. You can't really say fairer than that. It's a very, very good game indeed. I really enjoyed VileState's play. I really actually enjoyed the whole game, to be honest. Getting the 3 weapons so early definitely gave him a massive advantage over EGMachine, which I think he can be applauded for, really. It's not often that players actually get upgrades that win them the game as such, but I think his push here, and then coming down into the second base of EGMachine, would probably not have been as effective if he hadn't have had that 3-weapon upgrade, because it was quite early in the game really to have 3-weapon upgrade at all. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, have fun playing StarCraft, and I will talk to you guys next time. Cheers.